Hello, we are continuing our interview with Vanessa, an American belly dancer living and working in Egypt. So, based upon the 8 years that you have now spent living and working in Egypt, would you advise other, Western professional belly dancers to go and seek employment in Egypt? And if so, what qualities should they have, or what precautions should they take? What are your thoughts on that? Is this a good idea?
Okay, well, first of all, I would never discourage somebody from following their dreams. Okay, I've always been one to say, hey, you don't know until you go. You should check it out. That's the first point. Go, get an idea. Even I had this kind of romanticized idea of what Egypt was and what it would be. And I remember, band members, musicians that I used to work with in New York, they would tell me about their time, working in Cairo and what it was like. And they were telling me about things that were 20 years ago. So it wasn't like that. I show up and I'm like, where's the this, where's the that? And
it's no longer relevant.
Honey, it's not like that anymore. Get with the times. So it wasn't what I thought it would be at all. I'll get to that in a minute, okay? So it wasn't what I thought it would be. So would I recommend? I would say, sure, go and understand what it is. Then you can make a decision based on that. It is not easy because you are submersing yourself into another culture. Being there on vacation is a lot different than living there and being there with the daily things. So when you're in a hotel and you have a concierge and you have a tour guide and you have people who are, falling over themselves to help you out, it's great. And when you have friends and stuff, but after you're there for a while, and everyone wants to help you, but everyone says they're going to help you, but usually what happens is people might be wanting to take advantage of you. So you have to really have a very good network. You've got to know some people that are kind of in the business, or maybe a mentor, somebody who can kind of take you under their wing a little bit. And that's another thing is, a lot of dancers, they may not want to help other dancers because they can, which is understandable. You help somebody, perhaps you help lead them to a job, and then you don't exist anymore. And thank you, and I am a star, and I go about my business. And so I have hired a lot of dancers when I had my group, and I have also helped other dancers to have work. But it is not something that I can do very easily, because at the end of the day, they have to be able to handle themselves and all the things that are happening surrounding this work, which can be difficult. So yes, it can happen. Things that they should expect. Number one, you can have a plan. Things aren't going to go to plan. You have to be patient. You better have money there. Yes. Don't tell everyone you've got money, because it can just go on forever that you're waiting. But you can't think, hey, when I was in New York, I just went somewhere, auditioned, and I was working the next week. It doesn't happen like that. And it's gotten a little bit more difficult. Now, I think that a lot of people like to always talk about back in their day and how great it was and how it's gone down. And you could say, oh, those were the golden. I was never there in the golden age or the fabulous years. I came in actually at a time that maybe wasn't so great, but it was better because, number one, there hadn't been the revolution. Number two, we hadn't had the financial crisis of 2008, which I didn't feel at the time, because my money was getting me a whole lot of bang for my buck. I did not feel that financial crisis. Later, things are happening. So what happens is, people can undercut. People are trying to get anyone new, anyone desperate who wants the work, because they're going to put money in their pocket. They're going to take advantage. They may not know. So there's a lot of things. You've got to really know the market and kind of understand, get some people around you that are in that business. Otherwise, you're going to be going and flying blind.
You'd be very vulnerable.
Very vulnerable. And this is not to scare anyone. This is just to say, hey, now we have social media, we have the internet. Find somebody that you think that you can maybe reach out to, talk to, trust a little bit. And also to defend some of the dancers, such as myself, who are there. Some of them have to say, listen, I'm so sorry, but I actually can't give you all my references. I actually can't help you because, if I help everybody, then I'm not even focusing on my own career. I think you've got to find a balance for that. But, learning Arabic, of course, that's very useful. But understanding how things work is more useful. Okay, I had one friend, Zaina, who actually, she has her book, it's like The Life of a Traveling Belly Dancer. And so she actually worked with our group at one little short time, and anyway, she's had a lot of stories traveling all around. Her advice to me, because she was in Egypt for a very short time before I went, she goes, learn the numbers. Because if somebody gives you a business card and the numbers are in Arabic, what if you have an emergency and you need to call someone? You better know what those numbers are. Also, if you're on the street and you're looking for an address, and you may not be able to read the sign that says the name of the street, but if someone says, this is, Shara Tahrir, for example, okay, you can look at the numbers and understand the address. And the third point was, of course, if you're at the store and they have the price written on something, nobody can rip you off. Because you can see, no, it's 5 pounds. I can see it right here. That's a 5. So it's not 50, it's not 10, it's not 28, it's 5. So learning the numbers, that was a huge thing. Learning a little bit of Arabic, it's very useful. But understanding, like, number one, people don't like to be rushed. You can't make them, I was always very much like, very impatient, snap, snap. Okay, when I had my group, I could be like that. But when I'm dealing with others that are not working for me, whoa, you got to sit back. You've got to
respect their groove.
You've got to, even, they may not even have a group. Maybe also, sometimes they don't like to say no. So maybe they know this isn't going to work out, but they'll say, oh, inshallah, inshallah. And you think that you have a chance, and maybe you don't, or maybe you will in 2 years. So, you have to be ready for people saying yes, 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 but maybe they mean no, 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 no. And I mean, it happened a million times. I would get excited for things like contracts and, get excited for this ideas of things that people had. And now I've learned I don't really get excited until the contract is in my hand. Maybe you don't want to tell everyone about every plan that you have because maybe they'll take your idea. Again, this is not to scare people. It's just things I've learned along the way. I'm telling you, with my show, I had my costumes, my choreography, the music, some of which was music that we had specially composed for our show. I had a girl who actually danced in my show, and she was kind of coerced by another team member to take videos of that work and send it off to someone else to get work. And they said, this is the show we can do for you. Well, these people, they knew who we were. They said, this is Vanessa's show. So they called us up. They're like, well, you guys have someone trying to sell your show. And of course, if it's you, come on. And I'm like, and so I went to, the team member and I said, listen, if you would like to go and get your own work, you are just more than welcome to do so. When you want to, have the, put in the blood, sweat, tears, find or create your own music. Buy your own costumes. Make a choreography that's more than just the couple steps that you've learned doing ours. Hey, I know that sounds like, but really, like, come on, guys. Yeah. Hey, it's everyone can say, oh, that looks easy. Just throw a few things together. So, you think, oh, it's going to be easy. Just go and do it. No, when you have put all these things together, then you can understand. In the end, we're friends. And she apologized and realized. But I was like, hey, you can do it, but do it. Do your thing.
Do it legitimately. Don't steal.
Don't steal. Yeah. Don't steal. So, people can be a little bit protective about their gigs. Dancers should expect that not everybody's going to embrace them, or people may act really nice to their face and say all kinds of things about them to their back just to keep other people from wanting to befriend them. I've had that too, where people have come and they've been like, oh, I want to come and see your show. I want this, I want that. And then maybe other people that were around them said, no, if you're with her, then she's going to make you like sub for her, and then you won't get your own work, and then the people put a distance. And it's kind of, to be honest with you, it is not what I thought it would be. It is not easy, but you have to get a contract from a place that can hire foreigners. You have to know how the system works. You can't just be like going everywhere all over the place. There's a lot of dancers who are working illegally.
Because, well, that's an interesting point then, the difference between as a foreign dancer and then a native-born dancer. So do you then have less opportunity? Is that what's part of what's going on here? Like they have like an inside track, or everyone's on the same playing field?
Okay, we're not on the same playing field, although sometimes foreigners have an advantage for other reasons. For example, they don't have their family disowning them or things like that.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a whole nother
the
topic.
cultural, social.
Okay, but
Yeah.
as an Egyptian, if you are an Egyptian citizen, you can get your work paper and you can work anywhere. You can go anywhere you want if you are a foreigner. Now, and also back in the day, like when I first came into Egypt, I think I got a lot of opportunities that either don't exist now or are much more difficult to have at the time that I came in, because there was so much going on and the economy was good and people were working for more money. Like, people are now working for a fraction of what it was I was asking for in Sharm el-Sheikh. It's gone down. Like, I mean, when I talk about they're taking maybe 25% of what it was I was taking.
Wow.
Okay.
That's massive.
It is massive. Also, the money. So what can a dancer expect? The money. When I went to Egypt in 2008, $1 was approximately 5.2 Egyptian pounds. So it already meant that your dollar was getting you pretty far, and when you change that money back, it's less dollars. So you can't be going there thinking, I'm going to make a lot of money, because at the end, when you trade it back, it's not. Well, now, guess what? It's half of that. $1 is about 10 Egyptian pounds, possibly more, on the black market. So this means that $100 is 1,000 pounds. So if you go with money, it's going to get you far. But when you're really struggling hard to make that money, when you transfer it back into US dollars, it's now 1/10. So when you're going, you can't be thinking, I'm going to go and I'm going to make a lot of money. You have to understand what the value is, what the market value is, so that you don't undercut. But you also have to know it works in a different system. When you live there, you are paying Egyptian prices. You are paying rent, Egyptian price. You know, you're buying a bottle of water, Egyptian price. So it is different. You can't say, hey, but I made $300 for this event, and why aren't they giving me 3,000 pounds? Well, because they're not. Because somebody's going to do it for 1,000 pounds and not 3,000 pounds.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so there are some disadvantages. Foreigners, some places they're very strict with them, checking the work papers. How it's working now is that a lot of foreigners who have become very famous in the last recent years, and some Egyptians, have done some things to upset people, which kind of started a little bit of a ruckus. And it made people kind of go, well, we don't like this. Or maybe this foreign dancer said, well, there's lots of foreign dancers working. And then it kind of put everybody on the map a little bit. People start going, oh, well, let's see about that. Now, in Sharm, I had a paper for the group. They were under the umbrella of my company. I could protect them in the hotels where we had contracts, but I could not protect them in the nightclubs. And I did have a couple girls where I'd say, please, don't go work in the nightclub, because we can't do anything for you. If anything happens to you, there's nothing we can do. And
you're on your own.
You're on your own, babe. You're on your own. And, you know, this could bring problems. So there are varying degrees of things. And in general, there are fewer and fewer venues that want to pay to keep up their paperwork to hire foreigners. It's cheaper for them just to hire Egyptians. So it means if you get a contract is not enough. Oh, look, I have a contract with this hotel. Cool. Does this hotel have a license to hire foreigners? Have they paid the whatever dues in the last 5 years so that it's working?
Yeah.
Because maybe way back when, I had that happen to me. I signed a contract for a hotel. I'm all excited. I just got to Cairo, got my contract. I pay my money for this. I pay my money for that. They start, you know, I have my receipt for this. Okay, I can start working with this little receipt. And then you keep going, and then they're like, wait, but whoa, this hotel doesn't actually have a license to finish. Like, we're now so far down the line, but they don't have what they need to complete
To actually hire you.
I've already spent, no, to hire me, yes, to finish the paperwork so that I'm legal
Oh, okay.
to work in that hotel. They don't have it. I've already paid my money. I'm not getting that money back. So what can I do? The only thing I can do is get another contract, go back, pay a little extra so that they change the name. I have to do more papers, have to do more letters, have to do this, have to go there. I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot. So you have to know, if you're going to do it the right way, there's going to be a lot of steps you have to take.
A lot of busy work, it sounds like.
It's a lot of busy work. Now, we do have people that help us with this busy work. There are some guys that is their perfect job. They know where to go, they know how to do it, and they'll do what they can for you until which point they need to see you. You must sign a paper. You have to go get a HIV test as a foreigner. You know, like in any country, you have to go do these things. Like, okay, yes, you must go and prick your finger. We must, you know, have you do this. You need to go, and these people need to check you. You've got the secret police. You've got, you know, all kinds of human resources of the country. So you've got a lot of people that can say no. They could say no. Oh, you visited this country? Why did you go there? We don't know about that. So that's another thing.
Yeah.
Like, say I want to go visit a country. If that country and Egypt are a little bit like politically maybe not so great, not good if I want to work in Egypt, to go visit countries that Egypt might have a problem with.
There's like these layers of bureaucracy
Completely.
that are regulating the belly dancing, which is certainly not something we have here, where it's a completely unregulated...
No, honey, it's a free-for-all.
Free-for-all, exactly.
It's a free-for-all.
Took the word out of my mouth. It's a free-for-all.
free-for-all,
But
sure.
so if a dancer going there is going to have to expect not a free-for-all. You just cannot do whatever you want. That is not going to fly.
Well, I mean, some people have gotten away with it, which is why I think it really paints an unrealistic picture. Because there have been a few people that just kind of go, and they do it, and they get away with it. Maybe they have somebody that helps them get into a venue that will get them their paper, and then they do a bunch of private parties because those aren't as regulated, and then they're working everywhere kind of in that way. And so, yeah, sometimes it happens, and you go, good for them, I guess, you know. But, I mean, it has definitely been a trip. So, yes, somebody can go and try and understand what it's about. And then you could say, hey, I really do want this challenge. I really do want to see. But also, maybe some place doesn't give you a contract. It doesn't mean that you're not good. It doesn't mean that you couldn't be fabulous in Lebanon or Dubai or Bahrain. You know, I mean, it's not like you didn't get this, so you're not a great dancer. I've seen some amazing dancers have a very, 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 very difficult time. Or people made life such hell for them and so horrible that they said, you know what? I don't think I want to do it here.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
And maybe some people are gloating, thinking that they won, that they were successful, that they did it. But yeah, I mean, you definitely have to be understanding that it's not going to be comfortable. You're not going to get everything that you want right away.
Well, it's not merit-based.
It's not.
It's not merit-based. It's not, and you're not going to be making a ton of money regardless. So you really kind of have to want it for the experience on some level. That this experience is driving you enough, this desire to live with this culture, or to get the impact of this culture on your dancing. Things beyond money and things beyond what you think will be an easy fame, because that's just not reality.
No, it's not. Now it's interesting that you talk about fame, because now with social media, it's easy to put something together and all of a sudden, you know, somebody's just kind of blowing up. Like somebody's working some weddings, and then they get with an agent and they're just working all these weddings, and they just kind of, you know, blow up and become famous. Or you know, so and so does a video clip and everybody sees it. And I mean, that's happened for me where I've done video clips. The weird thing for me is, I think being in Cairo helps you become more famous. Doing the work that I did in Sharm el-Sheikh, doing that work helped me become respected and known by the other dancers and teachers and people in the arts. So there's different levels of fame.
Exactly.
There's the fame, the you know, social media fame. There's the fame, the television fame. There's the fame of the people around, the people that are at the Cairo Opera, and the people that are working in the Reda troupe and the Kalmeya troupe and the other master teachers. So there's different levels of fame. I would much prefer to have longevity. And I kind of, for me, my way has been slow and steady wins the race. I didn't go and say, I am a superstar. You know,
exactly.
I mean, but like, okay, everyone wants to be a star, but you know, I remember, I remember that I got offered certain things, you know, maybe jobs on a boat. I'm like, oh, the pay is horrible. But you know, sometimes to get seen, to get more things, you have to go and you do that work so that you get your foot in the door. Because if you aren't given that chance or that opportunity, nobody will see you. And you can't.
You got to pay dues.
You got to pay your dues, and sometimes even so. For me, I've been there long enough to where I've paid my dues, and those dues are starting to pay off, even if it was a very long journey. I also got to kind of work out all the kinks, you know, learn a whole bunch of songs, learn a lot about the culture, so that when I got to Cairo, I was like, all right,
yeah,
you can play any song for me, I'll dance to it, I don't need a rehearsal, you know, like I could say, but hey, when I first got to Cairo and I thought I was ready and I didn't do so well at that audition and I didn't book the work, do you know what I mean? Like, I can say I had that moment. I could say, hey, you know, it's not what you think it is. You may be fantastic, but, you know, you just got to get into that sort of groove. And it takes time. And it's, you know, success is when the preparation meets the opportunity. So you've got to be prepared and ready. And you've also got to notice when those opportunities can come, what opportunities are good ones to take, and what opportunities you should go, you know what, let me check on that. Let me talk to a few people and
let me get back to you.
Exactly. Let me get back to you. I'll call you. And that is so important. You know, you can't just jump at everything, because they really can sense that hunger and that, you know, oh, I'm just chomping at the bit to do anything. And if you're desperate, you're going to get taken advantage of, which is most unfortunate.